Hi there, rugby fans. This is a short episode we're going to do about South African transfers and in the Super Rugby, what's going on and what the teams have been doing. Because South Africa had a 21-day release clause, and obviously the news are coming out bit by bit. And it's been a while now, but we just gave it a couple of days because we know afterwards there was some transfers as well. So for today's episode, I'm joined by the Jakkal. So Jock, welcome. And what are your thoughts about the transfers that we're going to discuss now?
Hi. Yes, I'm very excited about the transfer news. It's great to see players coming back to South Africa, but it's also sad to see players going away from South Africa. Of course, they're pursuing some experience overseas, and of course, the money benefit that goes with it. So yes, if we go through this list, there's might be some players that's not on the list, but what we know of that transferred. So we might get a few other names in also, but yes, I'm excited about the new players coming into our South African teams.
Yes, and obviously any speculation that we heard about we'll also mention, so a rumor we'll mention, and we'll just talk about that. So kicking off with the Bulls, which is probably the longest list we have on today's calendar. Just the squad, I'm looking at the squad, it's someone like Dusan Komboka, Jan Herp, Sipiu in Tanzania, Trevor Kane, Gerrit Steenkamp, Dan van der Westhuizen. And the only addition is Marcel van der Merwe. So I don't think we lost anybody there. We only gained Marcel, who's obviously a Springbok. And Gerrit Steenkamp came back from injury this year already. He's been out for 3 years consecutively. So that's the only gain there. So it's not much to say, but obviously getting a Springbok back, that must mean something.
Yes, of course. There's not I don't know how many caps he has for Springboks, but I don't think it's a lot. But again, still experience coming into the team with young props and hookers coming through. Of course, we lost Skalk Brits because he retired. But yes, I think the experience of Marcel van der Merwe is going to be a big advantage for the Bulls.
Yeah, and moving on to the hookers, I'm not going to mention the squad every time, but we lost Louis van der Westhuizen. I didn't even see him play. I think he's a junior. And then we got Skalk Erasmus from the Stormers. So obviously someone like Johan Grobler with backup and Jaco Visagi also there. That's actually not a bad three, seeing that we lost Skalk Brits.
Yes, I think it's a good 3 or 4 hookers we've got here there for the Bulls, and it's good possibly for rotation also. We don't know when rugby in South Africa will continue, but I think with the transfer in with Jake White, I think he will probably see how the players play. He will give everybody a chance. So hopefully all of the hookers can show their faces and 1 or 2 make a name for themselves.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting because we're moving on to the biggest list now. It's Andries Ferreira, Jan Groenewald, John Riquet, Ruan Riquet, Reiner Pieters, which is the locks. But if I'm correct, Andries Ferreira is leaving, John Riquet is leaving, then Jan Groenewald is confirmed. He's going to Cheetahs, and Reiner Pieters is moving to Castres. So that leaves only Ruan Riquet. But the Bulls got Sintun Manjesi from the Cheetahs and Walt Steenkamp from the Cheetahs. Obviously, buying 2 players from the same squad will be an asset because they already know how each other plays. And then Jan Ace from Brive, and they released a video on him, and he looks something like RG who can distribute and run. I don't think he's just not that fast as RG.
Yes. Yeah, and also RG is also out, if I'm not mistaken. He went to Munster. Yeah. Or maybe that's just for the time period. But yes, it's a couple of good names there. I also saw the video on Ace. Good offloading skills, good ball skills overall, and is good in the lineouts. Also a tall, big guy. So that maybe it will make an impact. I think RG is more like the breaking the line type of player. I think Ace is just bulldozing over the place because it's a huge guy. And also with the 2 Cheetahs locks, I think they already have some experience playing together. And also it's quite young players, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So good for them to to get into a squad also with good management and just getting an opportunity on the big stage again.
Yeah, it's nice to see them coming from the Pro 14 or the top 14 and playing some rugby in South Africa for the Super Rugby, if that's what you're going to get. But Sentiment is also mobile and hardworking lock. Moving on to the flankers in number 8 position, there's a lot of movement here and rumours, because Tim Agaba did not play this year because of neck injury. So hopefully he gets back quickly. I believe Mungile and Kontwana left. I don't know about Ron Steenkamp if he's still there, but Josh Strauss has been confirmed to leave today. Miller Ace, young prodigy coming up. Mark van Staden struggling with injury, and I think Vian Vosloo left as well. And then John Rudolph leaving. And the news is coming in is Arne Botha is coming in from Munster. Nizam Kaur from Wasp. Dwayne Vermeulen confirmed for another season. And then there is a rumor that Marcel Coetzee could join the Bulls quickly or soon.
Yeah, and just if you say this name, I'm already getting excited because the backs, if I can call it that, at the scrum, the 6, 7, and 8, with names like those, it's going to be big impact players, good over the ball also, so it's going to be good at the breakdown. So I'm very excited if Marcel Coetzee can come back in. Unfortunately, he had a lot of injuries throughout his career, so hopefully he's taking care of that in this time. But yes, I think also with Arne Botha, big players. He's also like a Dwayne Vermeulen for me. So and also Nizam Kaur, who can play also at flankers. So there's a lot of depth in that position.
Yes, and I have the fortune to also know a couple of the youngsters at the under 21s and so on. And there's a lot of depth at the Bulls at the moment. So this is a quite good combination to have experience internationally, overseas experience, and then youth coming in. So this is the future that the Bulls needs to look at. And hopefully they utilize it. So Jake White, who's also in, we'll mention him later, but obviously he's in as well. So moving on to the number 9 position, Mark-Jan van Rensburg, Empress Papier, Ivan van Zyl, no movement there at all. So staying the same. And then I'll just mention that Moni Libbok left, and then Chris Smith and Monestein is only left. So what's your thoughts on the halfback pairings?
I think, well, Monestein is always a good go-to guy. For me, Embrys Papier is probably the best number 9 we have there at the moment. But I think there's also guys coming through the ranks from the junior team. So again, youth coming in with a bit of experience is also very good. And having a guy like Monestein in your team and also at number 10, you can get a lot of confidence from that. And also him, what's the other guy, Smith?
Yeah, Chris Smith.
Yes, also with more nice experience, you can always give back to the team that he started it all. So yeah, I'm very excited to see that. I'm just a bit worried about Ivan van Zyl. For me, he still needs to do a bit of work, especially with his speed at the breakdowns and everything. But that's just my personal opinion. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I think he's not the number 1 choice at number 9 for me.
Well, I've seen him work on in quarantine. Hopefully he gets better because he's a good player. There's quality there. So hopefully he and Ambrose can compare and compete for a jersey. So Chris Smith, also a front foot fly off, will learn to look to learn a lot about from Monestein. So moving on to the centre pairing, I only think Franco Nordea left. He went to the Kings, and Dylan Sage obviously left, I think, to somewhere in France. So that leaves us with Nafi Tuivake, Marnus Potgieter, and Burger Odendaal. But Burger, I think there's a rumor about him leaving. I'm not sure.
Yeah. We don't know yet if Burger is leaving. I hope not. I like him as a player. But yes, I think the centre pairings is going to be a difficult one to get back to where it was. Let's say at the time with Jesse Kriel and Jan Sarfontein, or Sarfontein and JJ Engelbrecht, all those guys. The Bulls have always had good centre pairings. I remember when I was young, Wynand Olivier and JP Nel was playing. So always good centre pairing. So hopefully we can get that back. Jake White can work his magic there. So I think that's quite a big headache. If I was the coach, that would be the headache for me to get the pairings correct.
Yes, definitely. Then on wings, Johnny Court's obviously playing center as well. We lost him to the Shimizu Blue Sharks to Japan. Oscar Speckman going back to the Cheetahs. Travis Ismail coming back from Harlequins. So not a lot of movement there, only Ismail coming back. And also someone like the likes of Cornel Hendrick still in the squad with Jade Stichling, who's a youngster.
Yes, I like Jade Stichling. He's a good player. I think he can make a name for himself. But yes, Cornel Hendricks is shown after his comeback that he's still got it after his heart problem. And yes, Travis Ismail, I think with the previous coaching staff, he didn't get the lucky straw, if I can say it like that. So he went overseas, but good to see him back. I really like him as a player also. With the likes of Speckman and Kotze leaving, that was a big negative for me because I like both the players. But yes, Ismail, he went overseas. He gained some experience in different conditions and also with different types of players. He can come back and teach it to the younger guys also, and just the normal South African guys. So good to see him back.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So moving on to fullback and the coaches. So Warwick Galant's leaving to the Stormers, which I think is a good move for him personally. And I'm just thankful that Devon Rousseau is leaving to the Lions. I'm not a fan of him at the Bulls. Like I do not rate him as a good player. Then Richard Kriel is staying at the Bulls. And then his twin brother, David Kriel, is coming in from the Stormers. So this is not family from Jesse and Dan Kriel, the other twins. But this is also Kriel twins. And then Hugh Upland obviously coming in. And then Puta Imon was released and Jake White took over.
Yes, again, experience coming in with some youth. So I think Jake White has a pretty good plan set out for the Bulls. So hopefully they can come back to the previous string. Yes, I rate him highly as a coach. I have very much respect for him. Joe Upland also, when he was at the Stormers, I didn't like him because he was a Stormer. He was our enemy with the Bulls, but coming back, his experience and also quick feet is like a older Cheslin Colby for me. So yes, I'm waiting to see all the action from the backs.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. So moving on to the Lions squad. Now, there is not a lot of outs and ins here, and obviously this is not up to date yet. So we're just going to jump through the things that they have here. So they lost the locker one for Mark. I don't know him that well, so I don't know how that's going to affect them. But obviously losing someone like Kyle Brink to Leicester Tigers and getting someone like Jaku Kriel, and obviously we haven't seen much of Roelof Smit yet in the next seasons, and obviously gaining someone like Willem Alberts is quite a gain for them.
Yes, and we also saw in the beginning of the year Yanni du Plessis going over there. So again, like Willem Alberts, the bone collector as I call him, good player, is really tough to tackle, and also again experience coming in. But yes, a big loss with Kyle Brink, and I hope to see Roelof Smit back. I'm so sad he had a lot of injuries in the beginning of his career, because that guy, I rate him very highly as a player. I hope to see him in action, so he can maybe get his name into that Springbok squad again.
Yes,
so,
for sure.
yeah,
No, definitely.
Let's see.
And then obviously Len Massane and his brother. I think his brother plays for the Stormers, so that's quite a good eighth-man to have. Moving on to the scrum offs, Ross Corneer, Dylan Smith, Mornay van der Berg, short-term signing, don't know who he is, and Andre Warner coming from the Bulls. A good all-rounder, good all-round 9 there. Ross Corneer obviously solid, Andre Warner more running, and then Dylan Smith obviously doing a bit of both.
Yes, I've watched Andre Warner since he was at Tuks, at Varsity.
Yeah.
So I really like him as a player. I just hope he gets enough game time to show his skills and the form is. Hopefully he's in good form. But yeah, I'm also keen to see the battle for the number 9 jersey. It's nice to see some competition within teams. So there's not just one player standing out, but a couple of players getting their names in the hats for a jersey.
Yes. So fly-offs, they lost Sean Reynolds to Nevres in France, and they gained Jordan Hendrickse from Maties. And they also have James Mullens, who played under 20 box, I think 2 years ago, and Elton Yankees. And then Tian Swanepoel, who's also a Namibian player. Like Tivan Rousseau, who's joining the squad.
I'm not a big fan of Elton Yankees. I never was. That's just my personal opinion. But yes, it's for me, it's a pity they lost Reynolds. I think he was a good player in the making. Hopefully, he can make a name overseas for himself. But yes, I hope the youth come up in the squad, because Elton, there's a couple of years left, but not that many. So hopefully, a young guy can stick up his hand for a position there.
Maybe James Mullens it will be.
Yes.
So yes, we'll see. So moving on to the centers, Dan Kriel, obviously twin brother to Jesse Kriel, Duncan Matthews, an ex-Bull, Mani Ras, a young upcoming center, won the Siles Milani, a very good upcoming center. And then Laurits van der Schuyf, who made an impact at school level and at under 20s. Yet to see him at Super Rugby, but also a big center. I'm also going to mention the wings, because there's no transfer movement in the centers as of yet. So Tyron Green leaving to Harlequins, but they still have someone like Stian Pienaar, Courtney Soskan, and Jumbo Lengu left. So obviously a big loss in Tyron Green. But he luckily said he's still available for South Africa if they want to pick him, which I am very thankful for, because I believe he is someone of the quality as Jason Colby.
Yes, that guy's. I like to use the word workhorse.
Yeah, for sure.
He doesn't give up. He's trying to stay on his feet. He's trying to look for gaps. He's running fast, hard lines. Absolutely love the way he plays. Yes, hopefully, if he can keep his form there at Harlequins, I wish him all the best. Hopefully, he gets his name in the Springbok squad as well, because that guy is a star of the future for me.
Yes, for sure. And then obviously getting Divan Rousseau from the Bulls, which we mentioned, but someone like Gianni Lombard and Andries Coetzee are still there. So I hope Gianni Lombard gets his chance, and then Andries Coetzee and Divan Rousseau can just stay away, because I'm not big fans of them anyway. So
yeah, I totally agree with you. I have nothing to say.
Summed up in a sentence. Moving on to the Mighty Sharks, which was actually looking like a good squad, and looked like one of South Africa's strongest teams of late. Probably Sharks, Stormers, then actually Lions and Bulls tied somewhere. They just have to find their form and find their tide out there to play. So strong props. Thomas du Toit, Michael Kumbarai, who came from the Stormers, Zon Jola, Kutam Chana, John Hubert Meyer, Oxenche, John Skuman. And John Skuman left to Bath. So he's out. And then they got Craig Burden in, and they got Dan Jooste in from the Stormers at hooker. And obviously they have Dylan Richardson and Karen van Vieren, who played great this year in that 6 matches they started.
Yeah, the Sharks is probably the top team in South Africa at the moment. Pre-lockdown. Now, yes, hopefully they can build on this selections they have with Thomas du Toit and Craig Burden, all those guys with good experience coming in. It's going to be a good competition in the scrums when South Africa rugby comes back.
Yeah, for sure. Then the Locks, they only lost Tyler Paul, but he's also he's an asset they lost, because he's a good flanker. But I do not believe that they lack anything in this place, because they have Hiron Andrews, Leroux Roots, who's a 130k monster, JJ van der Mes, who's a upcoming player as well, Ruben van Heerden, who was at the Bulls. If I look at their flankers, Pepsi Buthelezi, who's obviously a great captain at the under-20s, Teran Tembu, who has to yet make an impact again. They have Noche, who's on form, Evan Roos, who's the upcoming talent, and then obviously the great James Venter, who already has a 6-match highlight package that everybody wants. So, they have lots of depth and a lot of youth in depth. that is
Yes.
frightening to see.
Yes, again, with names like that and the weight they carry with them, I think with their loss, they also gained with the youth. I think the Sharks is busy building a young, strong team that can work together for a long time, like the Lions did a few years back. So I'm interested to see how the Sharks go when the Super Rugby continues or South African Rugby continues. But yes, I think with the locks and the flanks, it's going to be difficult for other teams to compete against them.
Yeah, no, for sure. And just looking at their scrum offs, it continues because I think they lost Louis Schroeder now recently. I think he left. Yes, so continuing on the depth that they have, someone like Sunele Nahamba, who's had a great season, Louis Schroeder who left, and Cameron Wright obviously still in their ranks, with someone with like Cohen Bosch and Moni Lebok, definitely future Springboks in the squad.
Yes, I was quite surprised with Nahamba, the way he electrified the game and the speed he played. So I'm quite interested to see if he can continue that form and continue that speed he plays with, because in the beginning of the year he only came on for like the last 15 to 10 minutes. So he has that electricity about him. But if he starts, can he keep that up for 60 minutes, for 65 minutes or whatever? And also with Bosch and Lebok, that's a competition for the jersey, which I think Bosch is going to dominate more. But both of them can play fullback if there's an injury or whatever. But yes, I'm very excited to see the two young fly halves working together.
Yeah, for sure. Looking at the centre pairing, someone like Lucanio Andre Esterhuizen that left to Harlequins, Jeremy Ward, who's a young upcoming player, Marius Lowe is there, and then obviously gaining Werner Kok from SA Sevens. But there's rumour he can play flanker for the Sharks, or wing, or centre, so it doesn't matter because he's a great player nonetheless. So quite depth there. And no changes at the wings. Someone like Makazole Mapimpi, Lwazi Mbovu, Spoon Kosi, JB Peterson, Madosh Tambwe, and then obviously Apulele Fasi at fullback. So actually good depth. Only depth lacking, I think, is in the centre department, depending if Werner Kok's going to play there.
Yes, I think Esterhuizen is quite a big loss for the Sharks, in my opinion. He was a good player. Really stepped up his discipline, which I thought was lacking in the beginning. And with Werner Kok, is what I like to call a hybrid player. He can play almost any position. So I'm very excited to see him play in a 15-man format because he's gained popularity in the sevens. So hopefully he can bring some of that seven skills over to the Sharks wherever he plays. Because he's good over a ball like a flanker, but he's fast and agile like a centre. So I'm very excited to see him. And also with the wings, with JP Peterson and Mvovo and Mapimpi, all of them has experience. So I would like to actually see a youngster come through the ranks for the wing, because Mvovo and Peterson, they're like 34. 35 thereabouts. So I would like to see some youngster coming to the squad,
like Madosh Tambwe.
Yes. I think if he gets more chance in the smaller games to get some experience, I think that would be good for the Sharks.
Yeah, interesting. So that's the Sharks, something building, something cooking up in Durban. And it's not curry, so let's check it out. So then moving on to the Stormers, and it seems like let's see what's going on in Durban. But in the Stormers squad, the Harlequins seems to be building a team, because they also signed Wilco Lowe from the Stormers. And looking at the rest of their squad, they still have Steven Kitzel, Frans Malherbe, and Ali Vermaak. So quite a experienced squad yet. And then lost two hookers, obviously Skalkie Rasmus to the Bulls and Dan Jooste to the Sharks, but still has Bongi, and Skara and Chad Solomon. Bongi also rumored to be linked with a couple of clubs, but obviously didn't leave. So lucky for the Stormers there.
Yes, I don't know what the Stormers are doing there in Cape Town, but they seem to be holding on to their big name players. So yeah, maybe the other unions can learn something from the Stormers, because I think they also kept Peter Chef the toy. So yeah, it's interesting. They have big name players, but for me lately, just my opinion, they haven't been working as a unit as of late, with all the Springbok names in there. I think they can build on what the Springboks did also, and get that into the Stormers camp.
Because obviously they have most of the Springboks now. We're looking at their locks. Peter Steph du Toit is actually mentioned as a lock here. Future Springbok Salman, probably JD Schikkerling is here, also 2-meter monster. Aris van Rijn is also a flanker. Chris van Sail, who's a hard-working horse, which I believe the Bulls should have actually looked at.
Yes.
And then moving on to their flankers, they only got Connor Evans from Bishops. I think he promoted from school level. They also got Keke Murabe, who played SA Schools last year and the year before that, so 2 years in a row. But they only lost Kobus Visa, a young flanker, but they still have Sia Kulisi and then Jaco Kutsi and Jono Augustus at number 8. So a lot of versatility from lock till number 8, if you look at the squad, and it's big names.
Yes, another future Springbok for me is Jono Augustus with Murat. So Augustus has come through the ranks. I think he also played for the junior box. Big, strong player, ball carrier, much like Dwayne Vermeulen. So yes, that's a good front pack for the Stormers. Hopefully they can build on what they have, and use the leaders in the group, like the Kulisis and the others like Peter Steph and all those with experience to help the youth in the squad, and they will be a force of a team going forward.
Yeah, for sure. That's the most frightening, I think, back three at forward level at 6, 7, and 8 that in the country, along with something the Sharks can put forward. So I think they only have the advantage of experience at lock.
Yes.
And then also interesting prospects. Herschel Yankees still staying, and paired with Damien Willems at fly off because Jean-Luc du Plessis was released from his contract. And then they signed Kate Vollert, who's also SA Schools player that came from Montpellier. He was directly signed out of school to go there, but he obviously came back. And then I'm going to butcher this name, Sasha Ngomezulu from Bishops, also from school level, I believe. So young fly-offs and Damien Willems.
Yes.
So.
Damien Willems is also a young player, but he has a good experience behind his back. The only thing that I would worry about is, can they perform under pressure? I think other teams will exploit that of the Stormers. So hopefully the coaching staff there can do something about that. But yes, I think good names, good young prospects. So hopefully the Stormers will build them up, not break them down, as some other players have had with several unions, not just the Stormers. So great youth there. So hopefully they can perform on a high level.
No, I hope so as well. And I think this is the only depth where they don't have a good amount is at centre. So it's Dan du Plessis. I don't actually have not played yet. Michael Eisner, who came from the Griquas, doesn't play yet. Lyle Hendricks and Matt Moore, I don't know. Then they have Rowan Nel from the Sevens, which I do not rate yet as a 15-man player. Rigas Pretoria is also an upcoming player, not that bad. And then Jamie Roberts obviously go back to Wales. I don't know if he will be returning. So that's where they lack a bit of depth. But at wing, they have abundance of depth again, because it's Sergio Peterson, Siabelos Natla, Edel van der Merwe, and Leo Linzas.
Yeah, I think the Stormers have the same problem as the Bulls at center, getting the combinations right. But yes, also I struggle to rate Ruan now, and also Sinatla as a 15 player. Sinatla has given us some evidence that he is as good in sevens, in 15 as in sevens, but I haven't seen that completely in his 15-man game. So again, can they perform under the types of pressure and make a name for themselves? So I hope to see the Stormers doing good, but I'm quite nervous with especially the centers and the wings and fullback.
Yes, and I would love to hear Stefandre's opinion about this squad, obviously being the only Stormers supporter in this trio that we have at Rugby for Days. So moving on to fullback and the coach. So John Dobson is coaching this team. Obviously not a bad coach, and he did well at the youth. But he has at the fullbacks, he has two new fullbacks to work with. Obviously losing David Kriel to the Bulls to join his twin brother there, and losing Dylan Leitz to La Rochelle. And Dylan Leitz actually said that Colby had a lot of influence with his transfer to overseas, and obviously getting Rory Galant to the Bulls, and then getting Dylan Leitz's brother Tristan Leitz from the Western Province, and obviously being promoted from Vodacom squad to the news team. So quite interesting there, new players in the 15 jersey. It will be looking like.
Yeah, I hope Warwick will bring some experience with Tristan Leitz. I saw him in a couple of games, but he didn't
not impressed.
Wow me. It did not impress. Again, Dylan Leitz in the beginning also didn't impress me, and he really grew as a player. So I'm not going to talk negative about his brother now, but hopefully Warwick will bring some stability in that back line of them, because there's a few inexperienced, but also to go alone, if I can say it like that. Who wants to shine alone. So hopefully there's some good continuity, good communication in that team, and they will be a very good team in the competition.
Yeah, I believe so. The Stormers, one of the strongest teams in South Africa, with the Sharks. I believe the two squads to watch out. I do not remember if we mentioned that the Bulls, the locks, that Jason Jenkins will be joining. I just want to mention that quickly. And then at centers, the province also lost Evie Viljoen to the Bulls. And I think we skipped upon that. I don't remember we spoke about it, but now that you now mentioned it, so now it's in the video or in the podcast. So, Jock, just the overall thought. What are you looking at for South Africa? Obviously, the rumours being that we only get July, maybe August rugby again.
Well, if you look at the squads, it's a good squad that each union has. Good depth with all the teams. For me personally, if my heart is speaking now, I hope the Bulls come. We have a big expectancy on them with the likes of Jake White coming in and all the players that he signed again. But again, the Sharks really has a good team. The Stormers has a good team. So for me, I think it's going to bring back that competitiveness between the South African brands. All the derbies getting hyped up again and stuff like that. But for now, we'll look at New Zealand and Australia rugby for now, and maybe learn from them. The way maybe we don't know if the rules will change here as much, but I'm very excited to see all the teams back, and hopefully the injuries will stay away.
Yes, I hope so as well. And we hope to see some rugby soon. And hopefully someone like the Southern Kings and Cheetahs can join us in a Super Rugby. That'll be nice to just have a competition fully in South Africa with all the provinces. But I believe this has been a longer podcast and a longer video if you're watching us on YouTube. So I'm not going to leave a question of the day, and I'm not going to ask you a question of the day. I'm just going to sign it off here and ask you guys to leave a comment or just hit us up a tweet or a post on our social media. RFD, you can find us about anywhere, and leave us what you guys thinking and what you guys feel about what the South African team should be doing and who should be doing what and what strategies. And obviously we'll be keeping eyes out for more transfers coming up. And then just remember our Super Brew pools is up and running. The Australia teams are soon to be joining the Super Rugby, so their version of the Super Rugby, so that's also going to be up. So just don't fall behind and don't lose points, guys. And then I'll leave the last words to Jock, and he will sign us off.
Yes, thank you for the podcast, and thank you for the listeners for their time listening to our opinions for the transfers. And please leave a comment in the comment section. Please like and subscribe our stuff. Go follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Join us on TikTok and Instagram. We like to engage with the listeners. And yeah, we will see you again in the next podcast.